everybody, it's your girl Shawnee. Today, I am joined by none other than my handsome hubby, Champ. And today we're going to be talking about how he knew that he made the best decision of his life, which was knowing that I'm his wife and marrying me. I guess we can just start with, as far as from a godly man, a Christian man standpoint, right? What would you say was the thing that stuck out the most, that made you feel like, okay, this could be something. This could be more than just I might think that she's cute or something like that. But what exactly took it to the next level to where you felt like, okay, this could possibly be my wife?
Well, my viewpoint of a godly marriage or a man who is seeking a wife, looking for a wife.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, for a man supposed to be submitted under Christ himself. Mm-hmm. And when a man submits himself up under Christ, Christ gives a man an assignment, which we call purpose. Mm-hmm. So in order for me to determine who is meant to be in my life, as far as a wife, friendship, associates, even the enemies who come in your life to test you, you have to be under submission to Christ, and you have to be living in a type of purpose. You got to know what your purpose is. You got to know what Christ has for you to do. Mm-hmm. And upon that purpose, when you in your purpose, people come in your life to test you, and you also have people in your life to come who will make you better. Mm-hmm. And just from experience, I think we all probably experience this, but sometimes when we get in a relationship, even if we just go from the standpoint of a person being cute, fine, sexy, whatever you want to call it, but sometimes we get with a person and sometimes it seems like this person kind of like draw us away from our purpose, or even draw us away from us being who we are. Sometimes we try to alter our own character, our own personality, just to, I guess, impress a person, or to try to force or make a relationship work. But if that happens, that's kind of like, nah, that's not for me. If I'm at a place that I could just be who I am in Christ, I don't have to be ashamed about serving the Lord. I don't have to be ashamed about my purpose, even with my past. My wife, she was able to accept my past, and I'll probably tell this story somewhere down the line though, but she was able to accept my past. She was able to accept me for who I am. And she was also able to help me to exceed in my purpose, to excel in my purpose, to enhance my purpose, to enhance me as a man, to continue to give me that motivation, continue to give me that confidence, continue to give me, even when I'm down, continue to build me up when I'm down, get me back on my square when I fall. And the times when I fall and she never kicked me when I'm down, she always there to encourage me. She always had my back. So, to summarize everything, whoever just makes you better for you being who you are. But in order to know if that person is making you better or not, like I said, you have to be under submission to Christ. You have to be in your purpose. That's the only way you will know. You can't be around here trying to figure it out. You have to be in alignment with Christ just to know that person who's going to come in to make you better.
I keep hearing you say, pretty much just being in submission to Christ, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that look like for, like, say if you are single, for all of the people who pretty much are in their time of waiting, like they want to be married, they want to be in a marriage, right? Mm-hmm. What does submission to Christ look like in that time period of their lives?
Okay, well, I'm just going to give you a short example from my experience. I remember before I even just decided to live for Christ and really just to get on my purpose, I was always, trying to find this chick to come up in my life. But every chick, every chick that I ran across, she really just didn't make me better. She really just didn't push me forward, you know what I mean? I feel like I was really not getting anywhere in life. So it's kind of like when I decide, okay, I'm going to put the purpose before the chick, everything started to get better. What I mean about that, like, okay, so I'm going to stop chasing women. I'm going to stop trying to, just build something with women, really just focus on my purpose. Mm-hmm. And my belief, my purpose is basically going to school. First of all, I started off as a truck driver. Truck drivers, we stay on the road for I don't know how long. So, in my opinion, a lot of people really just can't stand in their shoes as far as just a wife, a man being gone all the time. Okay, it's a lot of temptation that stands there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already thinking, okay, I'm gonna probably be a truck driver. So a lot of women really just ain't going to probably deal with that, you know. And Chantel, she dealt with it. She understood the assignment. And moving forward, like I said, I'm going to school now to become a counselor. And she tried to help me in all aspects. And I feel like, okay, if I know my purpose, if God got me on the road to be a truck driver, to one day do some things like buy my own truck and probably provide jobs for people, and on the road of just being a counselor, okay, what does a counselor looks like? Counselor is a person who gives people advice, who try to encourage people, to help people become better versions of themselves. You know, so if I had that type of gift or ability to be able to pour into people, it had to be reciprocated from my partner. I have to have a partner to be able to pour it to me, because I'm giving so much out, but like what would be poured back into me? You know what I'm saying? So she had the ability, like I said, understand the assignment, knowing what I do, like the time I'm weak, the time I don't feel like doing what God's called me to do. She pours back into me, constantly keeping the cup full. You know, most chicks I done ran across didn't have that capability. You know what I'm saying? It was always me, give this, I need that. Like, okay, cool. So I gotta focus on my purpose and focus on this woman too, and still not get anything, you know, poured back into me. So, like I said, on that path, I was thinking about, well, man, ain't no telling where the Lord is gonna take me. Maybe the Lord takes me to a different state. Maybe the Lord takes me to a different country. You know what I'm saying? And then relationships, like I'm saying, a person would get into a relationship and maybe I'm in purpose and maybe my partner is not. So I would like put my purpose on the back burner, probably try to maybe just sacrifice or forfeit going to a different country, going to a different state, just to build this with my wife at home. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm kind of like sacrificing my purpose. But when my wife understanding the assignment, like I said, if I have to go to a different state, she understands that. So most of the time she'll come right along with me. You know what I mean? Each moment she's constantly pouring it to me, you know. So like I said, it makes me doing what I do easier. When I'm on the road, I'm still focused. I ain't got to worry about what my wife doing, because as well she's in purpose as well, because she has a purpose, and I let you to her side of it, because like I said, she had to be in purpose as well. She had to be under submission under Christ as well. You know what I'm saying? I had to find her in that. You know what I'm saying? It's like when a man finds his wife, what is he gonna find his wife doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you find your wife in purpose, like I said, she had her own clothing company. Basically, it was another way that helped me, because I was looking for different way to kind of serve Christ without, you know, being like that. Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she created this clothing line that kind of like helped me to express myself without, like she just said, being in the pulpit. So she had to be in purpose in order for me to reach out to her. You know what I'm saying? Like once I reached out to her, we kind of built a friendship. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of understanding. You know what I'm saying? Talking to her was easy, and I'm pretty sure her talking to me was pretty much easy. You know what I'm saying? But you know, everything is not easy. Like I said, right. Even through the difficult times, we were able to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Even some things I had to change as a man, you know, and some things for her as a woman, she had to change. But a lot of people don't want to change nothing. If you can't accept me for who I am, then you know, you just don't need me. She can't accept me. But like I said,
stuck in their ways.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the portion that makes you better.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe some things about me that I need to change in order me to become better, to exceed to my purpose.
Yeah, refining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the challenges of a wife and a husband. She challenged me to be better. And some things I had to let go of, some things I had to alter, even my mindset, some things I had to change in order to be better. So instead of just fighting that and really just me being stuck in my way, I stepped to the challenge. I kind of did some self-reflection, and I changed what I needed to change.
Yeah. I know a while back, I had did a video basically saying how I knew that you were my husband, and in there I had mentioned about how in my singleness, I mean, my story was pretty much in that video, but in my singleness, I had to really be low with Christ. Like I had to get real low with him, and I had gotten to a point where I was pretty much okay with being alone as long as I had God, you know. And I think sometimes, like when you can get to that point in singleness where you kind of, because you sometimes feel lonely, you know, and a lot of times the enemy will use that. Because you're lonely, he knows that you're lonely, he'll try to bring like a counterfeit, somebody who seems like they could be a great fit for your life, you know, or they could be that God-given, that God-ordained spouse for you, you know. So I know you touched upon this when you when I asked the first question, but like, what was the specific thing that you saw? Like, did you have someone who seemed like a counterfeit for you when it came to you trying to move forward and like having someone long term, and kind of like what kind of was like that thing where it was like, okay, no, this is not a counterfeit, this is like the real deal, it's not too good to be true, so to speak, but that this girl could really be like, this is my wife.
Well, now I'm just gonna discuss like the power of prayer. Now, prayer is powerful and prayer works, and God has always shown favor, and I prayed this prayer multiple times in my life. I used to always ask, especially if I'm really interested in a person, and I would ask God, like, Lord, if this person is for me, let this person stay. But if this person not for me, just let the person flee. And I'm like, out of nowhere, like no time, the next day, the person would be gone. Like,
I'm like, bet.
Don't contact me or nothing. I'm talking about, I can't
no explanation, right?
Nothing. I'm talking about gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what the world's going on?
And listen, I just want to say this though, because that is a powerful prayer. Don't pray that prayer if you're not ready to let people go. If you, it could be the person that you the tightest with, you know, if you're not willing to let that person go because God says so, don't pray that prayer now. Because it'll cut people out.
Yeah, but friendships, relationships, all of it. Like some of my closest friends, people I call my brother, gone, you know, and it hurt. Don't get me wrong. Don't think it excludes pain, because I mean, you're still gonna feel some type of pain, still gonna feel some type of way. But like I said, that trust and the belief and that faith in Christ have to be stronger than anything, than any relationship, than any type of love. They have to exceed above all that.
Right. I know so many people when they are wanting to be married, right? They think, okay, well, I'm probably going to hear like an audible voice that speaks and says, my son, this is your wife. Or you're going to have that prophet that just comes to you and locates you in a conference, right? And just says, hey, you about to be married now. Because it happens. I know I've been guilty of it sometimes, not necessarily for marriage, but I've been guilty of it sometimes when I'm really believing for something, you know, and I'm waiting for a prophet to be the one to say, this is, you know, you about to get this. So, I mean, I know we've had prophetic words, right? And thankfully we have, you know, we have powerful prophets in our lives, right? But when it came down to marriage, was that like, did you rely more on a prophetic word that you may have gotten? Like, did you receive a prophetic word about me when you had me, like when we started pretty much dating and whatnot, or was it solely based upon your relationship with Christ?
It was a little bit of both. Now I gotta get a shout out to my spiritual mother, Prophetess Taryn Ann Tarver, / Bishop. She, I used to talk to her all the time. She used to tell me I'm gonna be married in 2 years, and you know, at the moment I thought she was tripping. You know, I I really wasn't checking for a wife. I was 27, 20. I was, think I was gonna have a wife somewhere down the line. Like I said, I wanted my idea about it. Like
your plan.
My plan, I wanted to already have paradise built for my wife to come. Like I said, I already wanted to have the cars, I already wanted to have the house, I already wanted to be stable into my career, I always wanted to be all of that though, But it's about the relationship, having a relationship with Christ. Of course, we have our own plans though. A lot of times we don't think that we need people. Sometimes we need people in our lives in order to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And the Lord knew I wasn't going to be able to do all this by myself. So, like Mama T said, I'm going to be married in 2 years, although I didn't believe it at the time, though. But I ended up again being married in 2 years. And like I said, how do I know? Like when you know, you know. You just can't be so wrapped up in the idea of marriage that it kind of like blinds you of a person, personality of a person, character, or whatever. Like I said, when you know, like I said, she made me a better man. She was always encouraging me. She always offered to pray for me, pray with me. Even when I had like business ideas or business plans, she always tried to see how could she insert herself to make certain things come to pass.
She meaning me.
I suppose. But like I said, she always have your back in every area of life. So it was a little bit of both of a prophetic word and a relationship with Christ. Because most people get those prophetic words like the next person who step in there like that, and that's it.
Exactly. And the enemy will use that, out of desperation. Not saying that you don't take your prophetic words seriously. You take it very seriously. Yeah. But having discernment is key. And I think that's where sometimes a lot of people lack, is that they just can't, they don't discern properly. And they'll just assume like, okay, well, I know I'm supposed to be married in 2 years, or I know I'm supposed to be married by the end of this year, so the next dude that comes into my DMs, like, that's my husband. You my husband. The Lord said you my husband. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a dangerous spot to be, and just to make sure that you are discerning, that you're seeking the Lord and everything that you do, that you fasting and praying. I'm a huge person about fasting and praying. But just making sure that you're not moving faster than what the Lord asked you to do.
I just want to throw something in for free. It's kind of funny. It's like most women who I used to talk to, the conversation, like in the first beginning of relationships or whatever, like the conversation always goes good. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I always wanted my woman to be, a go-getter, be on the same, kind of have the same pace as me, the same drive as me, the same ambitions as me, And most of the time when I talk to women, a couple of weeks go by, sometimes even a couple of days, and then they'll hit me with, I don't know how I'm going to pay my light bill. I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids. I don't know. Listen, I ain't trying to get in a relationship to be nobody back. You know what I'm saying? And even she had moments in her life where she would be kind of struggling, but she would never, indicate, put it out there like I need to help her. You know what I'm saying? And because she, did that, I was willing to help her. You know what I'm saying? And same way with me, like I said, I didn't put nothing out there like I need her to help me out with something. Like I said, she just volunteered to do it. It was a teamwork. It was, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. When God created Eve for Adam, made a suitable helpmate, she was like my suitable helpmate. She's still my suitable helpmate. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it goes beyond love. You know what I'm saying? It goes beyond the when I say love, the emotional portion of it, you know what I'm saying? Not the choice, but
it goes into agape kind of love, the unconditional
beyond the warmth for the fuzzy feeling, goes beyond the butterfly. Because sometimes the butterfly land and take a little break, you know what I'm saying? And you don't be feeling nothing. You just gotta make the choice to love a person. Like I said, you gotta know that you love a person.
That's where the commitment and the covenant comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if you let him tell it now, I spend all his money, but I don't believe that. Men that are kind of like in that area of wanting to be married, trying to prepare themselves for marriage, what advice would you give them in that point of their lives right now?
Well, best advice that I can give, especially men, be in your purpose first. Like, know what you're doing, know where you are going. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know where you are going, you'll be able to lead and guide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being a leader is kind of like guiding. You know what I'm saying? So like, where are you guiding your wife? Not even just your wife, but your family.
You're right.
When you have a son, what type of example you're gonna be for your son?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what type of example you're gonna be for your daughter?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they see you, what type of example of a man will they receive from you? Will they perceive? You know, because a lot of the enemy is biz out here, so you got to take account to all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I said, my son or daughter may end up choosing a different path. You know what I'm saying? We all been there, especially around those teenage years. We always, we think we know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of like get off track though, but like me, I've came back to Christ. I came back to my roots, so it's really important to put that trust in God, put your relationship with God, put your faith in Christ. Like I said, because he's going to lead you and guide you. You know what I'm saying? And when you get your direction from him, you'll be able to lead and guide your own family.
Yeah.
And like I said, when it comes down to love, you really just can't depend on the feeling, the emotion portion of love. It got to be a choice. And to make the right choice, you got to know that, okay, this person makes me a better person. This person is being this suitable helping me to raise this family. If I'm down, this person has my back. And being just an example as a family, a healthy example for your children. And don't get me wrong, like I said, you're gonna have some disagreements, but we always got to approach situations with an open mind. Because sometimes we may be right, but sometimes in being right is still something that we probably could have done different or something that we can do different. It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to grow and don't be one track minded on how you grow, because growth comes in all different shapes, forms, and fashions.
Yeah. And I would love to add just keeping in mind, and this is speaking to the men, just keeping in mind that this may be a season where you may feel lonely. You might have those moments where you're lonely, but the role of a husband is literally an office, and much like a pastor, much like a prophet, they hold these specific offices, and the only way that they're able to operate in those offices is because of what God has given them to be able to do so. And a pastor is not going to just go up there every Sunday and he hasn't studied. He hasn't filled himself with the word. He hasn't given himself, like, got in front of God to be able to fill himself with something to be able to then pour out to his congregation. And so the role of a husband is the same way. You can't get into this role of husband, especially as a godly Christian husband, and expect to be able to lead your house, your wife, your kids properly in the way of God when you haven't filled yourself enough with it. And so I think it's just so important for you to understand the importance of the husband as the priest, prophet, and king of a home. But also on the flip side, speaking to the single women, is the thing is that we're meant to be found, and I think a lot of women, especially when they get into this lonely stage, they're out there trying to pretty much catch themselves, like catch somebody, rather than literally being found. And so it's like, just chill, allow the Lord to do what he does. Put that relationship first. Let God be your husband. Let God be the one that is the priest, prophet, and king of your home. And the physical, the natural husband will come after that. But also remembering to fill yourself as wife or future wife, so that you can receive from your husband too. There were a lot of mistakes that I had made, and I still make sometimes, because as a wife, I don't always honor my husband the way that he's meant to be honored, and sometimes we can just miss it. And so even when you are a wife, you still have to fill yourself with ways in which you can learn how to honor your husband, how to honor your home, because at the end of the day, he's the head of your household for a reason. And so just making sure that you're not kind of trying to push yourself into that position, when you're not supposed to. And so I strongly suggest to men and women in your single period, really just understand what it is that you will be getting into when you get into a marriage. It's not about being able to have your fun at night. It's not about just being able to have somebody to lay next to every night, but really understanding that this is, if you're going to come together with this person, this is a lifelong commitment. This is something that you have to, when you feel like it and when you don't, that's where the covenant comes into play. And it's work. It's an office that you hold, and it's an office for a reason, because it's things that you have to do in order for you to fulfill those roles. And so I just love the perspective that you give as far as a Christian man, a godly man, from not being with someone, finding someone, and then trying to do life with that person.
When we talk about being the head, and it's for men, we can't look at being the head and abuse being the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, being the head doesn't mean being the boss. Like I said, being the head doesn't mean leadership. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's been times where I had to trust my wife's decision on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been some time that we would have to work together through something.
Yeah.
And like I said, the enemy is still busy. And there's been some time where the enemy probably has clouded my wife's judgment. And like I said, I had to have that clear mind. But in order for me to have that clear mind, I had to be under submission to Christ.
Right.
To hear his voice. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we talk about things, we come up with a decision out of love, and something that she just didn't agree with me. She thinking I'm crazy. I'm telling you, listen to me. Yeah, she thought I was crazy though, but she didn't argue with me. Like I said, she trusted the office that I hold as a man, as a husband, as the head, as a leader. And like I said, in the end, it worked out. Why? Because I'm out here to Christ.
Submission. Sounds like a cuss word, but it's really not.
Because we always talk about the wife submitting to the husband, but we are ordered to submit under Christ. You know what I'm saying? We forget that part, and it's the reason why we have to submit under Christ. But like I said, the enemy here is to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
And whatever he can do to do it, he's going to do it. But we have to remember, we have to submit to a higher power as well.
And I also, I just feel led to say, for some of the men that might already be married, if their wives are not submitting to them, sometimes they need to go back and check to see how submitted they are to Christ.
Yeah.
Because if they are in misalignment, the wife is going to be the same way. So, yeah, just make sure that you align with Christ and that you submit it properly. Because you're not, it's hard for a woman to submit to no vision. It's hard for a woman to submit, because our natural, we're naturally inclined to want to feel safe, to feel protected. And we won't feel that way if we feel like a man will, at any given point, just drop us because they don't have a plan, they don't have a vision, they don't have something that, if something was to fail, what are we gonna fall back on? So yeah,
because we can't handle all situations the same. We can't approach every situation especially when it comes down to our wife. We can't always be aggressive. We can't always be inserting some type of aggression. Sometimes we just have to sit back and show our wife love, empathize a little bit, sympathize a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta grow through something. That's the reason. Like I said, another point of having a relationship with Christ, because he'll let you know, like, okay, just be quiet and let me handle this. Okay, now you just step up and you handle this type of way. So it's very important to, like I said, have this relationship with Christ, so you know how to handle each situation, because you're not gonna handle all situations the same.
Well, y'all, we just want to say thank y'all for coming to our TED Talk. But seriously, I love the perspective that you bring, and I think that it's super important to be able to share that, especially because there's so many people that we know that are in their single time and wanting to be married, but you just got to do the work. You gotta prepare. You have to be willing to submit to what it is that Christ said and not your own way of doing things. Oh, there was one more thing that I wanted to add. So when we were talking about submitting to Christ and your vision, like your plan for how you wanted to do things. And it's like sometimes we even have a plan or a vision for who we want to marry.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And a lot of times we can miss the person that we're supposed to be with because we're so wrapped up in who he gotta look this way. He gotta look, 6'2", dark chocolate, and so
I always wanted a long hair, thick red bone though.
Here we
But I
go.
guess I end up with a long hair, thick chocolate bone.
Here we go.
No, it is what it is.
Anyway. And I was gonna say, I know for me, when I was in my low place, like really getting low with the Lord, I was like, yeah, my man gotta speak more in tongues than in English. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna go to sleep, we gonna wake up, and I mean, then it's like reality. But the fact of the matter is, this is a way more fulfilling marriage than I think that my vision of what I wanted could ever have been, because at the same time we connect with each other spiritually and naturally. And it just helps us so much to be able to make those decisions with one another, to really be able to, like, we see eye to eye on almost all things. Not everything, but most things. Probably like 99% of things. And that 1% sometimes we feeling like it's a huge percentage, but it's really not. The core things that we really that matter, we pretty much see eye to eye on. And I'm thankful that the Lord didn't grant me that all day, every day, because I be thinking about it now, like, girl, you was tripping. Yeah. But I mean, get you someone that'll pray with you and for you. And sometimes you just gotta chuck what you think that you want, and just submit and comply to what it is that the Lord has for you, because trust me, you'll enjoy it way more. I would love to be able to do a little bit more of the sit down with you, babe, because I think you offer a good perspective from a man's point of view.
Yeah, I hope I do.
You do. But yes, make sure that y'all like and that y'all subscribe to my channel. And y'all just might get blessed with a few more videos from my channel.
Yeah, whoever disagree with me, don't come for me too hard.
We'll disable the comments.
I'm still growing and learning too, though. So I'm just giving my point of view.
It's all good. The way that the Lord works is that He'll use it for those that need the seeds planted. So, but again, y'all like and subscribe, share if y'all felt like this blessed you, and we just thank y'all so much for joining us today. Bye.